Section 81 of the Ascent of Mount Carmel by St. John of the Cross. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Book 3, Chapter 32. The sixth kind of goods in which the will rejoices. Their nature. The first division of them. The chief object of my book, being the guiding of the Spirit through these spiritual goods to the divine union of the soul with God, it will be necessary for me, and for my reader, now that I am speaking of these goods which conduce the most to that end, to bestow particular attention on the matter. For it is quite certain that there are people who, because of their want of knowledge, make use of spiritual things in the order of sense only, leaving the spirit empty, so that there is scarcely any one, the better part of whose spirit is not corrupted by sensible sweetness, the water being drunk up before it reaches to the spirit, which is, therefore, left dry and barren. With reference then to my subject, I say, that by spiritual goods I mean all those that move us and help us toward divine things, in the intercourse of the soul with God, and in the communications of God to the soul. I begin with the generic difference of these goods, namely, sweet and bitter. Each of these is again specifically divided. The sweet goods are of things clear, distinctly understood, and of things that are not so. The bitter also are divided into clear and distinct, and confused and obscure. These are also distinguished according to the faculties of the soul. Some, being cognitions, pertain to the intellect; some, being affections, pertain to the will; and others, being imaginary, pertain to the memory. For the present, I omit to speak of the bitter goods, because they relate to the passive night, and I shall have to speak of them hereafter. I omit also the sweet goods of things confused and indistinct, that I may treat of them later. They relate to the general confused and loving knowledge wherein consists the union of the soul with God. I passed it over in the second book, when I was distinguishing between the apprehensions of the intellect, reserving it for more careful consideration in the book of the obscure night. I now proceed to speak of those sweet goods, which are of things clear and distinct. End of section 81.